This is Dean with People Creative, and this is the #1 question. Which front wing should I get? The PTM899 or the G900? Let's take a look. Alright, as you can see, I lined them up kind of side by side. I'm going to line them up one on top of each other, and you can see quite clearly the G900 has the wider cord. It is basically a refined version of the PTM926, and the PTM899 is considered a higher aspect front wing. The G900 has a 1263 surface area and the aspect ratio is 6.4. The PTM899 has a 925 surface area and an aspect ratio of 8.74. Check out slingshotsports.com for more details and specs if you need, because let's get on the water and let's test them out. So I filmed the footage over 2 days. The first day, I really wanted to test the G900 for exactly the winds that I like to ride it in, which is the lighter wind. The reason why, because it pumps up very easy. It's such a stable foil. The wind is 10 to 14 and I'm using a 5.5 V4 wing. And it's such a fantastic foil because there's no pitch battles going on. It's very smooth. It's quite quick. Goes upwind very well. But it's just one of those foils that you can get your feet in the straps, sit in the harness line, just kind of relax. Does everything like it says on the can. Just the G stands for glide, and it does that very well. It just tracks very well. You don't have to think too much. It just gets up and goes. And every time I test a foil, I kind of go through a process of how does it pump up on the foil. And then I go through a series of transitions, jibes and tacks and duck jibes and 360s, jumps. I kind of go through like a routine. So as you will see with the G900, it just performs very nicely, and it really suits, I think, wing foilers looking to sort of push themselves. You've gone through the beginner stage, you're up on the foil easily, and you're transitioning into jibes, and you just need a little bit extra help. And I really think the G900 is that front wing. And if you are more advanced and you need a front wing to sort of push you, this will do it. This does everything very nicely. It's just a very all-round, solid performer. If you look in this video sort of behind me, there's some ripples on the river, but it's not windy. There's very few white caps here and there. It's not particularly deep on the Banana River, so the swell doesn't really pick up like you're on the ocean. But I have tested the G900 on the ocean side in some good chest, shoulder high waves, and it glides down the wave perfectly. It has no problem at all. It does have quite a bit of lift, and when you swap out the rear 400 wing and replace it with the V360 or the 340 Turbo, and then it calms it down. It will help you if you find that you're having too much lift from the G900. You can see it just turns very nicely. A couple of 360s, nice and smooth. I really wasn't very powered, so it had no problem carving that hard around in the turn. Keeps that speed through the jibe. And then as you can see, the board's super level. I'm not being pitched all over the place. And then through into attack. Couple few pumps and away we go. Overall, superb, love it. I definitely keep the G900 in my quiver, no problem at all. Next up, the PTM899. And I've had this front wing for quite a while. I have tested it a lot in different conditions. And this, I think, is going to be one of those Hall of Famers. Pretty much everyone that I know that's got this front wing, they rave about it. They love it. It is more performance. It's not for someone transitioning from the beginner stage because it's very sensitive sometimes underfoot, and it loves to carve hard. Like in this part of the video, all of that pressure in my back leg, that foot is right over the mast, and this thing just wants to carve. It wants to go fast. It wants to go upwind like a rocket. It can go downwind. It will glide. It is unbelievable, and it's very fun once you get to that stage in your ability to handle a front wing, because it's, you know, the surface area is 925. It's not a big front wing. Aspect ratio is 8.74, so it's not super high aspect, but you definitely feel a difference over the G900. You will go through speeds and turns quicker, that's for sure. I noticed that especially in the tacks, it kind of cranks you around very, very quickly. Feels like sometimes you come out of the tack quicker than going in. It will, you know, I think it suits a little bit more wind than the G900. As you can see, there's you can glide, you can flag the wing, you actually stand up higher on the mast because there's so much pressure on, because you're going quicker and it's higher aspect, so it's actually giving you more lift. We have a awesome place to go wing forward in Fort Pierce in Florida, and down there you can get some good head high swell and waves, and I've launched that foil. I mean, some of the biggest jumps I've done on the river. You need that sort of, you know, that wave to get that lift, but you're going so fast with this front wing, it just wants to lift and kind of pop you up in the air, no problem. But this is one of the, I think, is the most fun thing to do, is if you can find swell somewhere, it doesn't matter if it's on the river or on the ocean, perhaps you've got some on the lake where you are, and this thing wants just to carve and glide, and it just gives you that sensation that you're sort of, your foiling is being pushed to the next level. It's so much fun, and you can just keep flagging and pumping, and it gives you the glide and that sort of feedback, that pressure underfoot, just to keep flagging out. And you know, if you can find some surf somewhere, it is a fantastic sensation. Whichever front wing you do decide, G900 or the PTM899, I always recommend to people, you know, get the front wing and then try the PS360 V or the PS340 Turbo, because that will change the characteristics also. So you don't have to go to the expense of buying different front wings. Start off with one front wing and change the rear wing, change the stab, and see what kind of performance you get from that. As always, if you have any further questions, please leave them in the comment box below. I'll be glad to help out. And if you can like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, that's greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. Until then, I'll see you in the water. Thanks very much.